ask you something. Have you noticed something's happening beneath the surface? It's quiet, methodical, but it's shaking the foundations of institutions that once looked untouchable. From large churches to corporate boardrooms, from Ivy League schools to international banks, a wave of bankruptcies, collapses, and resignations. And most people have no idea what's driving it. No idea. But today, I'm going to present to you a pattern, and it starts with executive order that people never paid attention to. That would be Executive Order 13818, which was signed by President Donald John Trump on December 20th, 2017. And this executive order expanded the reach of the Global Magnitsky Act. It allowed the U.S. government to seize assets, block financial transactions, and target individuals or entities involved in serious human rights abuses or corruption anywhere in the world. That means if you're involved in human trafficking, child exploitation, systemic abuse, or financial crimes tied to these actions, your money, your influence, and your power can be frozen without warning. Now think about what happened since 2017. Really think for a bit. Hundreds of Catholic dioceses in America have filed for bankruptcy. Why? Now, this is not an attack on the Catholic Church, because I and my family are Catholic, and we love our church, and our diocese is out of Grand Rapids. But that still doesn't change the fact that there are many areas, not just in the Catholic Church, but other churches. Christian Reform, the Mormon religion, oh my goodness, they're just, the corruption runs in every religious institution, not just Catholic. But on the surface, we see lawsuits, child abuse settlements, legal liabilities, and public outrage. And that's true, but what if that's not the whole story? What if these lawsuits and settlements were a visible tip of the iceberg? But below the surface are financial audits, asset tracking, sealed indictments. I know we know about the 100,000 plus sealed indictments that supposedly haven't been opened yet. What if below the surface are covert investigations taking place? See, that's what Executive Order 13818, I believe, was built for. It was a global financial weapon that was set out to go against corruption, against the deep state. It empowered the U.S. Treasury, the DOJ, and its international partners to track, freeze, and dismantle networks involved in human rights abuses and corruption. And that includes the most protected institutions in the world. Now look at the timeline. Pay attention to the timeline. Executive Order 13818 was signed during Trump's first year being president, in his first term. By 2018, the Pennsylvania grand jury report drops exposing decades of systemic abuse by the Catholic Church. In 2019, states like New York passed laws reopening the statute of limitations, triggering a tidal wave of lawsuits. By 2020, the diocese starts falling like dominoes. Rockville Center, New Orleans, Santa Fe. 2023 alone was Oakland, Baltimore, and others filed for bankruptcy. And all of this while the Vatican officials, including high-ranking cardinals, are faced with public financial scandals, resignations, and even convictions. Do you really think that's a coincidence? Or is it accountability finally catching up? And let's not stop at the church, because this isn't just about the church. hundreds of major corporations that many of you trust and shop at. Some of them are centuries old, have collapsed or filed for bankruptcy since 2018. Companies like Hertz, J.C. Penney's, Neiman Marcus, WeWork, and Chesapeake Energy, the Boy Scouts of America, bankrupt after decades of covered-up abuse. Hollywood, Harvey Weinstein's empire, Epstein's network, exposed. Ghislaine Maxwell, convicted. Higher education, dozens of universities, shattered or merged due to financial strain. But many of those institutions had abuse and corruption claims as well. The pattern is very clear. This isn't just economic decay, it is a targeted purge. A strategic dismantling of financially compromised, morally bankrupt institutions. And the tool behind it, executive orders like 13818, International Task Force, Global Financial Oversight Reforms, and Enhanced Transparency Standards. The Vatican Bank was forced to clean house. I don't know if you know that. The SWIFT banking system tightened rules on international transfers. Did you notice that? Major hedge funds, NGOs, and religious organizations began quietly shifting assets, rebranding, or otherwise just collapsing altogether. It's like the global deep rot is being uprooted, piece by piece. And here's the genius of it all. It's not just happening with fanfare or explosions. It's happening in courtrooms, through bankruptcies, through restructuring, through quiet indictments and financial audits. The mainstream media won't connect the dots. Why do you think Doge is doing what it's doing? Doge, also known as the Department of Government Efficiency, is doing what the people should be doing in their respective assembly. But that doesn't mean that the dots aren't out there. Again, just because the media is not connecting the dots doesn't mean the dots don't exist. And those who are paying attention to see it are seeing it. I want to make this a little personal because you are not powerless in this global story. If anything, you're living in a time of reckoning and restoration, where corrupt systems are falling and people are being called back to truth, justice, and personal integrity. This isn't just about watching institutions fall. It's about asking what will rise in their place. What values, what structures, what vision? Because when corruption is cleared out, there is a vacuum. There will be a vacuum. And that vacuum will either be filled with more tyranny or with righteous leadership by we the people in general assembly. And you have a role to play in that. Live with integrity. You need to stand with truth. Stand for truth. Be a voice of accountability, not just in your homes and in your community, but also in your nation. Because whether you notice it or not, the old world is crumbling and a new one is being born. What side of history will you be on? Now, if this message is speaking to you, share it. Don't let this be another whisper lost in the noise. Now, let's take this one level deeper. Why is this happening? Why this purge? Why are once powerful institutions falling under the weight of corruption? And what is the end game? Many of us are wondering these questions. We are watching the collapse of a de facto corporate government system that hijacked our republic over 150 years ago. We're watching the curtain being pulled back on a fraudulent power structure that replaced lawful governance with commercial codes, administrative agencies, and corporate fictions. And most people don't even realize this. But the United States has not been operating as a confederated republic for a long time now. It has been functioning as a commercial corporation, posing as a legitimate government. Each state, it's incorporated. Each court, a corporate tribunal. Each agency, a registered business entity with a DUNS number. And for decades, they've used this structure to violate natural law, rob the people of their rights, and enrich themselves under the guise of legality. But now, under Executive Order 13818, thankfully that system is being exposed and dismantled. And guess what? Guess who's doing it? Trump and the military. They hate Trump, not because of his tweets or personality. They hate him because he represents the return of sovereignty and the authority to the people. He represents the sovereign authority to the people. They hate him because under his administration, a global anti-corruption operation was launched. They hate him because he triggered Executive Order 13818, cutting off the money flowed to human traffickers, international bankers, and corrupt globalists. It's no wonder they hate him. And they fear what happens next, because what comes next is we the people reassembling lawful de jure government. Now let me say this plainly. You don't fix a hijacked government by voting harder. You don't fix a corrupted system by asking permission from your oppressor. You fix it by returning to first principles, by recognizing the authority of God, natural law, and the consent of the governed. Very important. And that's exactly what the Founding Fathers did when they created their committees of safety, their local assemblies, their confederation of states. They didn't ask for permission. They stood up, they organized, and lawfully reasserted their sovereignty. And today we have to do the same. We're not forming militias. We're not. We're not promoting violence. We're invoking lawful, peaceful, organized authority based on divine law and founding documents, starting with the Holy Bible. And that's why the work of reassembling state assemblies, declaring your status as a living man or woman, and exiting the commercial matrix is so crucial. It's why energy grids, water systems, and critical assets are being moved into secure military-aligned oversight outside the reach of corrupted civilian agencies. Now, we are hearing from RFK about the dangers of fluoride in the water treatment across this country that most people typically use for drinking water, which is hazardous for our body, and it makes us dumber every time we consume it. And aside from that, he also called out the fact that Health and Human Services, HHS, was a collaborator in child trafficking.
Have ended HHS as the role as the vector, the principal vector in this country for child trafficking. And during the Biden administration, HHS became a collaborator in child trafficking and for sex and for slavery.
For sex and for slavery.
And we have ended that, and we're very aggressively going out and trying to find these children, 300,000 children.
It's all part of the takedown, ladies and gentlemen. Now, while the fake corporate government collapses under the weight of its own crimes, the real republic is being restored brick by brick, man and woman by man and woman. But it only works if you take your place, because you are the sovereign. You are the heir of this land. You are the one they fear. Remember that. They fear your awakening, your courage, your voice. They fear that you'll remember who you are. Not a citizen of a corporation, absolutely not, but a free man or woman under God. This is the moment to act. Get educated. Connect with your local general, jural, state assembly. Better yet, form one if there isn't one there. Restore the republic, not as a political movement, but as a divine mandate. And if you're wondering if an assembly exists in your state, well, leave a comment and we will reach out to you. We will have somebody reach out to you to help you figure this out and help you out. But nobody's going to hold your hand and do it for you. You have to follow the 10 steps to an assembly, which there is a video for that. So scroll down to the beginning of this channel when the video started and find the 10 steps to an assembly. You can also find some of this information on thepeoplesauthority.com. But restore this republic. It's not a political movement. It is a divine mandate. And this isn't just about corruption falling. It's about a righteous nation rising. One built on truth, real truth, 100% truth, not fabricated truth that they peddle in the news, which isn't real truth. One that bows to no crown, no bank, no global order, only to the Creator and to the people. This is the people's authority. And the time is now.